and welcome to another episode of Elevator Pitch. Here talking to you is me, Altair, and in front of me is the beautiful
Hazel.
and next to me is the gorgeous
Andres.
Ooh, and this is
Well done for saying your name.
exactly. Wow. And today is episode 2 of our theme month of music.
Yeah.
We've already seen, and you hopefully have listened to the episode about Mamma Mia. Here we go again. And today we're going to a different spectrum of the musical world. We're going to talk about rock with the film 2012 Rock of Ages.
Guitar riff.
Hair banging. If you are new to this podcast, first of all, welcome. I'm glad that you decided to listen to us. But also, like what we do here is that we basically introduce each other films that the other ones haven't seen before. We give each other an elevator pitch of what the film is about, and also 5 reasons why we think everyone else should like it. And then we just ripped every film apart.
Piece by piece.
And we realized why we were wrong.
Exactly.
Right.
So today, like I said, is Rock of Ages, starring Tom Cruise and a bunch of
a lot
other
of
people.
Tom Cruise. Weird movie, man.
What's wrong with Tom Cruise? I mean,
It's not Tom Cruise per se. It's the amount of... Well, we'll get into it.
Yeah, I mean, like one of my notes is actually, why did Tom Cruise want to make this movie?
maybe he likes rock, or maybe he just wanted to learn singing.
Yeah,
and he used this movie as a
As a
way-
challenge. That's the only reason, because it's so different from everything else that he does. That is like...
I mean, I guess it reminds me of his part in Tropic Thunder. Like, that's sort of out there as well.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
Did he help produce this movie or anything?
I don't think so, no.
Because I think he did produce or help
Tropic
with
Thunder.
Tropic
Yeah,
Thunder.
yeah.
Oh,
I think so.
okay.
But yeah, I don't think with this one he did. But well, let's start then, shall we, with my elevator pitch. Here it goes. Rock and roll is the soundtrack to Sherry and Drew, 2 aspiring singers who fall in love on the wild and dirty LA Sunset Strip of the late 1980s. Both their passion for music and for each other is put to the test as Stacey Jacks, a really hot and troubled rock star, tries to jumpstart his solo career and has a monkey for some reason.
I guess it's like Michael Jackson. Yeah, monkey.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So my 5 reasons why I think you should like this film.
Why should we like this film?
The 5 things that I think are good about this
That
film.
give this film some value.
Exactly. Is first of all the music. I think it's a really nice compilation of rock and roll songs.
But there, some of them are kind of like you wish you were hearing the original. I feel.
No. I
Some
mean,
of them
I'm
are
not saying
good.
I'm not saying that they're better than the originals by no means. I'm just saying that it is really good to. I don't know. Like as a teenager. Well, I wasn't a teenager. I was already like 20. But as a young soul with a rock and roll heart, I think it was really cool to see. Look, I know that song. Look, this is the other song. So I think
Yeah.
that for
Yeah.
people who really like classic American rock music, it's like a really cool.
Or maybe
Time
for
capsule.
people who don't know anything, and these are like the most important songs to like kind of get into it, I guess.
But I don't... Well, maybe. I didn't really know a lot of them.
Yeah,
I was
no,
expecting to know more of these songs.
Yeah, no, because that's what because I think like Hazel said that she was waiting for like Queen, but that's like a total different scene. Like LA rock and Sunset Strip rock it's like another vibe. So this is what this musical is all about like those 80s era of rock and roll in LA. So if you like rock music, this is a nice film to watch. The musical numbers, I really think it was that's what sometimes for me was missing in Mamma Mia. That with Mamma Mia they tried to blend it within the reality, like they would perform, and there wasn't like this cut with reality. It was like, oh, we're still in this reality, and I'm singing this number. I think that here, just like in Chicago, when a song comes, then there's like a light changing. There's like there's like a setting there that tells you, hey, we're gonna sing. And I think those musical numbers are really cool, and I think do what they are supposed to do, which is to kind of like embody the essence of the song. And we'll go through.
I only felt like some of the ways they started, some of the songs were kind of weird. Like you could tell. Is this something gonna come up? But I don't know why I felt it was kind of cringy. I don't know. Like I feel like they should have made it more gradual. I don't know. I feel like...
Yeah, I think it's in that way. It's kind of old-fashioned in the way that they introduce the songs, because it's like, okay, they're talking, and then you hear "It's gonna take a little time," and then it's like, okay, here comes the number. But yeah. But I think like the choreography, for example, like the light changing, like the musical number as such, I really liked. Number 3, Tom Cruise looks hot.
Okay.
So I think it is like, I don't think it's been a while. Like it had been a while before that song came out. That since we had seen, I think, him in a role like this, like here he is, I'm a sexy babe. I think ever since like Mission Impossible, it's like, hey, here I am, Ethan Hawke. Ethan Hawke. Sorry.
Ethan Hunt.
Thank you.
So I think like this is like a completely different thing. I think it's like eye candy for like women, I guess. And then we have for the male audience, the strippers.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. I'm not kidding. That's nice. There should be more strippers in like more movies, please.
More strippers.
That was what was missing.
Exactly. And then you have nostalgia. I think that if you lived in that era, or if you're
like
fan,
us.
Exactly. No, because for example, I didn't live in the 80s, of course, but this is music that is really like important to me, and I think it's kind of nice to kind of see it in its context.
And you do feel nostalgic about some things, like the record stores and stuff like that have like disappeared and whatever. Like.
So that is my elevator pitch and the 5 reasons why I think that are good about this movie. Disclosure, like when I first saw this film, I knew it wasn't a masterpiece. Like, like I saw it, I was like, yeah. But yeah, like I really liked, like I said, the music. But yeah, this film was like a total failure, and everyone.
Oh, okay.
No.
Or was it a critical failure?
Yeah. It was. It was a failure in
every respect.
Yeah.
I didn't even develop like a cult following.
No.
It's just forgotten. I mean, I didn't even know about it. Like,
it's just
even though we had Tom Cruise, like I've seen, I think, all Tom Cruise movies.
Yeah.
I didn't know about this.
I think it had like a little bit of hype, like before it came out, because this is a musical that already exists on Broadway, and it's quite important. It's like one of the top 5 most successful musicals in Broadway. And so everyone was like excited about it, and then the movie came and flopped. And we're gonna go like in my curious facts, my fun facts. We're gonna see a little bit why. And yeah, like people was like, that movie.
Does the Broadway show also have strippers?
I probably but like next time you're in Broadway,
that's the thing you're focused on.
Yeah. So there you go. So do you want to share any initial thoughts, or should we jump right into the plot?
I think let's jump into the plot.
Yeah,
and then
I think all my thoughts will come up along the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Great. So the intro, the movie starts with the intro, and we hear Russell Brand announcing Arsenal. The
first reason for me to not like this movie.
Fair enough.
Sorry to any Russell Brand fans out there. I really don't like him.
Or Russell, if you're listening, sorry.
We lost like
weird-
half our subscribers.
What a weird sidetrack that took those, like him and Alec Baldwin. Like it's like what?
Yeah,
What
but
have they
that's
got to do with the rest of the movie?
yeah. Okay,
I don't know. It's just like no, it wasn't comic relief. It was like story C or like
Yeah,
D
yeah.
or
Well,
whatever.
let's-
I mean, I can understand why he got cast. He has like the look and everything. So.
yeah, exactly, yeah. So he's announcing this band Arsenal, which is like the band that Tom Cruise's character is part
What
of.
was the name of the character?
Stacey
Stacy
Jacks.
Jacks.
Stacy Jacks.
Jacks with double X. Stacy Jacks.
What a cool name.
And they are performing Paradise City, original
yeah.
from the Guns N' Roses.
What? Ah,
And then the year is 1987, and we see Sherry, the main character, or one of the main
I didn't
characters,
even remember her name. I was thinking like,
the blonde
what's
chick.
the name of the chick?
The hot blonde chick.
Exactly. So she's traveling from Tulsa, Oklahoma,
Of course.
to LA on the hopes of becoming a singer, and she's listening to the song, and she's looking at her records, her pressures, vinyl records with like all of these classic rock and roll bands. And then she arrives to LA. She's in the bus. She arrives to LA, and there's like that's another thing that I think the movie does really cool. The mashups between the songs, because then there's a mashup between Just Like Paradise and another song, and I think the mashups are really cool. And I really like on this scene the contrast between the song Just Like Paradise and then it's like dirty LA, like the prostitutes and the police chasing someone, blah blah blah.
Yep.
And then we get parallel introduced to the other, like the love interest, I
What's
guess.
the name of the guy?
The character is called Drew, but
Drew.
and then he is in this bar, the Bourbon Room, and then we get introduced not only to him but also to like the bar with nothing but a good time, so that you know that there's nothing but a good time going on here. So he's like a bartender or like a bar assistant, whatever. So we get to know like the vibe of the place, and then I think he's throwing someone out. And then we also see that someone steals Sherry's bag with her records.
and then instead of chasing after the
Yeah.
mugger,
That's my note. That's my note.
That was so weird. He comes to the rescue and then
it's like, are you okay?
And then he does
No,
nothing.
she's not. Go after him.
Exactly, because like he sees that she's getting robbed, and then he starts running, and it's like, oh, he's gonna go after him, but no, he just says like, oh, that's a shame.
yeah, that was lame.
How are you?
It's just
Are
an
you
excuse.
okay?
Yeah.
I know, right?
Yeah. But instead of, I guess that in retribution or like kind of compensating, he offers her a job as a waitress at the Bourbon Room.
Yep. And one of my, this is later on in the film, but I wrote, if only if it were that easy to find a job /
Yeah.
boyfriend as it is portrayed in this movie.
Yeah, I thought like, damn, like it's not like that in real life. This movie's unrealistic. I don't like it.
Was it really like this in the 80s? You could just wander into a club and get a job.
I get a job and a boyfriend.
Maybe.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So by now we have met Dennis, which is played by Alec Baldwin. He's the owner of the Bourbon Room, and we find out that they have like problems
Money
with
problems,
money
yeah.
problems, and they are like placing all of their hopes in this last gig of Arsenal, that Arsenal is going to play there at the club as their final concert before Stacy Jacks goes on a solo career. So that is set up that they really need this money. And after barely working, Sherry
Yeah.
and Drew go to a record store.
They
because
don't
why
even
not?
work.
They don't
They are
I know.
just like hanging around doing nothing.
Singing to each other.
singing to each other.
Yeah. It's annoying, we actually have to work in real life.
Exactly, that's why you hate that film, because it's like, come on, you have to
Come
work
on,
in real
you
life.
guys should have
Like,
to work.
this is fantasy. Yeah.
Exactly. This movie is a complete fantasy. Yes. And then when they're at the record store, like Drew confesses that he wants to be a rock star. He wants to. Well, it's something like, I decided that if I wasn't gonna be, no, I don't know, I'm gonna be Stacey Jacks. So if I couldn't be like Stacey Jacks, I was gonna be Stacey Jacks. Like he wants to be just like a rock star, just like Tom Cruise's character. But has stage fright, which doesn't really come to pay off later on.
Exactly.
Really.
I thought there has to be a scene where when
He's
chickens
gonna freak out. Yeah.
and then he doesn't. But no, I guess he doesn't. Really.
I mean, I think they do kind of do a little bit, like for a second of hesitation in his face, but then like it's not something that is developed. I thought that okay, maybe. He's gonna blow his first chance, and that's gonna teach him a lesson for whenever he gets a second chance to overcome his fears. No,
Nope.
None of that happens. And then there's another mashup. They sing "I Love Rock and Roll" and "Jukebox Hero." And after the song is over, then Drew asks Sherry out on a date.
I remember the date.
Yes, and then we meet Mike Whitmore, who's the mayor of
right.
Yeah,
I
this
also
character-
didn't understand this story.
His character was completely unnecessary, and it was Bryan Cranston, and I was like, I like that
What a
guy.
waste of Bryan
And
Cranston.
then he doesn't act, he doesn't do anything, he's just barely in the movie.
Yeah, and we're gonna see later on why there are all of these characters who kind of don't fit in this. But yeah, he is played by Bryan Cranston.
Malcolm's dad.
Exactly, or Walter White.
Walter White,
Who?
yeah.
So he is giving like a speech and saying that his secret weapon to clean the city of Los Angeles is his very conservative wife, Patricia Whitmore, who's played by Catherine Zeta-Jones, who swears that she will cure LA by getting rid of the rock and roll scene of the Sunset Strip.
Yeah.
And then especially Stacey Jacks, and we're going to see later on, like in a
He
scene,
hates Stacey Jacks.
they're like in a church. She's like with other women, and there's like a photo of Stacey Jacks, and they're just singing to
Yeah,
her. Like,
I did like that sequence too.
Yeah, no, I
That was
think
the best.
it's
I
really
thought.
cool.
I thought that was the best scene. Like, I don't know why, even though it's like not really that important. It's just funny. I don't know.
Yeah, and then, again, it's also like very sexual.
Does she sing? Does Catherine
Yeah, of
sing?
course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone can sing in Hollywood.
Except for Pierce Brosnan.
Oh, yeah, I guess he can. Yeah.
Poor Piers.
Oh god. So well, yeah, they sing that hit me with your best shot. To play, like, to say like, hey, come on, bring it. We're gonna take you down, Tom Cruise. Yeah, so then they go, Drew and Sherry have are getting ready for their date, which they're gonna have. I'm guessing they went somewhere else first, but they end up at the Hollywood sign. And he tells her that he wrote a song, which is Don't Stop Believing.
Yeah, that's like, he didn't write this song.
Exactly. No, but like in the world of the movie, he did.
Yeah, sure.
Which I love the fact that you were like, ugh,
I hate that song so much. I hate it. I
You
mean,
don't like it?
I don't like it because this was like the anthem for that show Glee.
I
You know
saw
that's
Oh, I
yeah,
never saw
yeah.
Glee.
No, I never did
I had the
either.
soundtrack though.
No,
Like I got that.
You heard Glee.
I heard Glee. Like I got it for my birthday one time.
Yeah.
I never watched Glee. But
no, like I never did either. But in every advert of the show was Don't Stop, and so it became like the like almost like the theme song of the show. And I was like, oh fuck, you stop believing. You should stop believing.
I don't know. I didn't have that experience.
Yeah, well,
Luckily.
but whatever. I mean, this is just me being a bitch. So, well, the big day comes where Arsenal is gonna go play in the Berber.
But wait,
room. Yeah.
the date. They have this weird, like he's talking to her and then he starts imagining.
That is not in the version that we saw.
Oh, what?
That got cut. That got cut. Yeah,
What?
yeah, yeah.
Oh, I saw the
Why?
extended version. I saw the extended version. I remember now. Yeah. Oh,
There's
I saw the good version.
yeah, yeah, and you're gonna know why they cut that part because like they're like yeah, exactly. In the version that we saw,
Yeah.
it's just them talking like
On the
oh,
day,
yeah,
yeah.
all pretty. You know, he's a romantic good
I
guy.
didn't know this. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like a romantic, sweet guy who only wants to give her his heart. But in the extended version,
The good version. He has like an imagination sequence where she's like dancing sexy and wearing like
A
almost
wide,
nothing, and like it's just a fantasy, and it's very sexual. Like, oh my god, it's almost like they're like dry humping, and then it ends, and it's like back to reality.
yeah, like I think she's talking about, yeah, I have my dreams of being a singer, and then like in the extended version, like you kind of zoom in, and then she starts like dancing all sexy, like in little clothes, and goes on top of him, and there's like a scene where it's like a bird eye shot, and he's like laying down, and she's on top of him, and then she goes down, like she disappears from the frame, and then you see him.
Yeah, that's how.
And that's why they
But
cut that scene.
the funny thing is that she's talking, and then you get the idea that he's not listening.
Yeah.
He's just like imagining her
Yeah,
naked
yeah.
or something, and she's like talking
Yeah,
about
yeah.
her dreams or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but that's like the extended pervert version.
Okay, let's see if there's more versions.
I mean, this movie was already so sexual. Man.
So yeah, so then the big days here, like Arsenal's gonna play at the Bourbon Room, and the opening act has canceled. So Sherry convinces Dennis, the owner of the club, to let Drew and his band perform as an opening act. They're called Wolfgang von Colt for some reason. And then it's like, yeah, okay, fine, just do it. And then like they get very excited. They start like doing the sound check, and then a waitress comes over to Cherry and tells her, "Nah, the spot, you're fucked." Something basically like, you're ruined. What do you mean? Yeah, the spotlight not only lights the mud, it makes us disappear.
It's true now.
I can't remember. I mean, because it was a little while ago now
Yeah.
that we watched it, but I remember I wrote down how bad this dialogue is most of the time.
I think
It's
like one of my notes is also like I think I don't know if you get used to their performances, or they kind of like get a little bit better as the movie goes by, but because the first performances, like the first minutes, like the performances are like
Ugh.
like that bit when he comes to her and says like, hey, after she gets robbed, like I was like, ugh, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, but at last the movie progressed like that. I don't know if it fell to the background and I ignored it, or they actually got better. But yeah, like the dialogue and the performances are a little bit okay.
Although there's one, I'm going to save this. There is one joke in the movie
Oh,
that I
yeah.
actually thought that was really funny, but I'm going to save it till the end.
Okay.
Okay.
That actually made me laugh.
So then like we see Stacey Jacks that he arrives to the venue, to the backstage. Then we have his manager Paul Giamatti, who tells him that Constance, a reporter from the Rolling Stone, is there for an interview. And basically Stacey Jacks is just an asshole to her. She tries to kind of like fight back with her questions. And he says like, you don't know what it's like to be me. And then he sings Wanted Dead or Alive by Bon Jovi. And while he's singing that song, he goes out of backstage and goes, I think, like to the stage, and he runs into Sherry at some point and asks her to bring him like a bottle of whiskey that is in the limousine, and then he goes back to the interview.
But is there a scene in the original version where he touches her breast?
Yeah, he's touching everyone's breast in that movie.
It's like, wow, damn.
That is one of my notes.
This is
Boob
something you
grabbing.
could do in the 80s, I guess.
Yeah, he touches every woman he interacts
every
with.
boob.
He touches their breast.
Women literally faint, like, oh.
Yeah, exactly. That's part of, like, I guess, the ridiculousness of the movie. That is like he walks by and like the waitresses are like fainted and stuff. Even Sherry faints. I think,
Yeah.
So then he goes back to the reporter, and then they start singing. I wanna know what love is.
All right.
I want you to show me. And they basically simulate having sex.
Yeah.
But then I love how, like, she just suddenly realizes, oh no, this is very unprofessional. I have to leave, and she leaves.
Not how it happens in real life.
You're sort of like, yeah.
Isn't that what sex is?
You climax
God,
and
what
then
have I
you're
done?
suddenly like, oh shit, what am I doing?
Exactly.
Instant regret.
Yeah.
So as she is leaving, we see Sherry that is coming back to the backstage to give the bottle. And it's very strange because they just bump into each other, and for some reason her blouse is turned.
Because you have
It's
to have
magic.
the moment later where he's like, oh my God, no.
Exactly. But like they could have done a better job. So it's like
really
they
fake,
literally just like bumped, and it's like, oh, my breast is out.
Breasts are exposed.
She's like, just leaves it like that. Like,
Exactly. She's not like, okay.
Yeah, so then she leaves the bottle, and as she's coming out of backstage, like she's like fixing her top, which
and then Stacey Jacks is like fixing his
pants.
pants.
Yeah, exactly, because she comes up, she kind of like gets to her shit together and puts her little sleeve back on.
Yeah.
And like Drew from the distance is seeing this, and he's like, wait, what?
To be honest, I think like I would have thought the same. Like,
I guess you could think it, but you can also
the problem
ask.
is later,
I know,
yeah.
right?
The problem is his reaction later, but
Yeah.
at this point I was like, oh damn, like
Yeah, because then also I think what aggravates this is that when she leaves, then Stacey Jacks comes out, and he's also like feeling his dick.
but she also fainted before
Yeah.
when she saw him, so you're just thinking like, oh damn, like,
Exactly.
that must be shitty if you're on stage and you see that, like,
Yeah. So he's very, very mad about his girlfriend fucking this rock star.
What do you think? Yeah.
But
Or what he
does-
thinks,
but
what he
does-
thinks, yeah.
He does use this anger as
Yeah,
inspiration.
and this is the moment, because then Russell Brand calls the tribute, the opening act to stage, and I thought this is going to be the moment. He's angry and he has stage fright. He's definitely gonna blow his opportunity.
Yeah.
But no, like he kind of like takes like a few seconds to come out, but eventually comes out, and then
Just
wanna
rocks
rock.
it.
he says, I wanna rock, and they just play I Wanna Rock, original by the Twisted Sisters.
This makes me think like it would be nice if you could go back in time and like steal all of these songs and write them yourself and become famous.
Isn't that the premise of Yesterday?
I haven't seen that film.
I think
I
like,
haven't seen that film.
oh, well,
So
I
you're
mean,
thinking the whole
it's
time,
for,
like-
if anyone interested, it's like this guy wakes up and then the Beatles never existed.
Oh,
and,
I heard
and he's
that.
the only one who
Yeah.
remembers a song, so he becomes famous using their songs.
Oh,
I've never seen it.
Oh, it sounds like a good
Yeah, sure.
thing, I guess.
I mean, there's something I thought about watching this movie. It's like this guy is pretty much that. Like he's playing all of these really famous songs, and like in this universe, these songs don't exist.
Don't exist, yeah.
These
Yeah.
bands don't exist.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, everyone loves them. They become like very believed, loved by the audience. And then Sherry goes to congratulate him. Oh, baby, you did so great. And then
She's like, fuck you.
Exactly. She's like, he's been a total dick.
Yeah.
And
he also like drinking, like like drinking a bottle.
exactly.
Yeah.
And then they break up and she quits.
Yeah.
That's how quickly it goes.
Exactly. I guess like things easy comes, easy goes. I guess like
Yeah.
if she found this boyfriend like that, it
Exactly.
might as well just lose it
I
like
thought
that
like this
as
is
well.
the weakest relationship I've ever seen in my life. Like it just breaks like that.
I know.
They
Yeah.
didn't even have an argument. It's not like they didn't even explain anything.
No.
No, just
No,
chill with me.
No,
I don't
they're
want to see
just
you.
like, okay, fine.
Fuck
Fuck
you.
you.
Exactly.
Maybe he wanted to break up anyways, and she just used that as an excuse.
Yeah, it's her problem.
Exactly.
So I was thinking, like, why don't they just talk.
Because there
later?
wouldn't
Because
be a
then the movie would
Yeah, well, come, you
happen.
have to like, make it more believable. Or like,
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
more-
it's very like, oh, we need this to happen. Just
Yeah.
write it
it's
down.
Like it's like a teenager
Yeah,
relationship.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
as an adult, you don't. I mean, nah, like you don't really. You wouldn't get that mad or like.
I mean,
at
you would
least-
talk, you would
Yeah.
confront that person.
Exactly,
wouldn't
you would
I
say.
felt like it was really like childish. The
Yeah.
whole relationship.
Yeah.
You didn't feel like they were really in love.
Yeah.
There you go.
I don't know. But well, he kind of like he is trying to go after her for like a second, but then Paul Giamatti's character, who's like the agent,
Manager,
the
agent.
manager
Yeah.
of Stacy Jacks, like stops him and offers him to be the next Stacy Jacks. So he's like, mommy.
Girl or man?
Exactly,
or fame?
girl.
As
or
it, like
fun.
those two are mutually exclusive.
Exactly.
You can't have both.
Exactly. But
And he doesn't get any other girlfriend later when he's famous. That's fake.
I mean, it's just that he doesn't get to be famous after all.
Exactly, it doesn't
True.
really make it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true. He becomes like
Yeah.
what's the name of the band? Boy band.
Yeah, like the East, the Seaguyes.
Yeah.
Oh.
So after the show, we see Dennis, who's Alec Baldwin, and Russell Brand, and they're very happy because they have all this cash, and they're gonna save the club. But then Paul Giamatti or Paul, whatever, says that all that money belongs to Stacy, and he takes all the money and just leaves them with the problem.
See, now this is where I have my first question.
Yeah,
If this club is so popular
yeah.
and this, fixture in LA, why is it running short of money?
Because it's chillly managed. Like they don't even like the workers don't even work. They just pay them, and then they like
True.
just flirt.
That's true. They don't
and
seem to show
nobody's
up, do they?
working.
They don't actually
They
work.
probably spend all the money on like stupid shit. And,
Yeah, that could be poor management. You're
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
No, but I think he also says it's like taxes. So I don't know if it's like they evaded taxes or something, and then now they have to pay this enormous amount of money to
okay.
the IRS.
Oh.
Because he does say something about taxes at some point.
Yeah,
Whatever.
this is a thing I
Boring
want to
and
hear in
movie
my rock and roll movie. Oh yeah, we made tax, and now we have to pay back to the IRS. We're in real big trouble now. Like, ooh, have rock and roll.
But I think this is when then like Russell Brand's character and Alec Baldwin's characters decide to confess their feelings for each other by singing,
but before
I
that-
can't fight
I
this
think
feeling anymore.
But before, I'm just thinking like, why don't they have like a contract with the guy? Like you can just say like,
I'm
all
guessing.
my money.
I'm
fine."
guessing not because
I
he.
wouldn't. Why
It's
did they
the
give him the money?
80s.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I mean, he also had like, didn't he? I don't remember. I don't know if this is an inception that I have in my head, but maybe he had like 2 bodyguards or anything. He just
Ooh,
thought
but then
that
you
they were
assume.
afraid of. Yeah. What?
I mean, I don't know. That's not very rock and roll. Like, just give him your
Yeah.
money.
I mean, the only thing rock and roll about this movie is the rock and roll, the songs,
Yeah, I agree. And the sex.
and
All
the
of the
sex.
sex.
Exactly. So then we cut to Sherry, who ends up at a strip club where the owner, Justice Charlie, played by Mary J. Blige, offers her a job as a dancer, but Sherry says, no, I'm gonna be a waitress because I'm not a sinful woman.
I'm not a slut.
I'm not a slut.
Exactly. I'm not a slut. I'm not a whore like the rest of you.
I'm not a slut like all of you.
Exactly. But then she realizes that being a dancer is more profitable than being a waitress.
And it's better for the audience also.
And and so she just decides to become a stripper.
And then sing a song in that part.
I mean, they sing. I know I have here any way you want it. That's the way. But I think exactly. I think like she's introducing like the strippers with this song. And I don't know I think that the stripper number is really, really good.
Yeah.
It's really nicely choreographed and shot. But yeah, so then she becomes a stripper. Yeah.
No, I was gonna say sad.
I don't know. I mean, in this case, she didn't really want to be a stripper. But if you want to be a stripper, you are listening to this,
Yeah.
and you want to be a stripper, go for it.
And this would encourage.
Exactly. We all would. We all
You would
would.
be making a society of
a happier place. So
I think is this sort of roundabout the moment where this sort of just diverts completely from the main plot, and then we just focus on Tom Cruise for ages, or no, that was sort of the middle, wasn't it?
that wasn't when in the
club.
interview. I think in the interview, that's a very
But I think
long,
that's the most
unnecessary.
entertaining part of the
Do you
movie.
Really?
I think
I
it
think,
goes
like,
for too
Focusing
long.
on
It was just at some point you sort of think, okay, where is this going? Like, what has this got to do? You know, you've been introduced to these other two characters, and you sort of think you're going to follow their story, and then it's just
But
Tom
these
Cruise
characters
show.
are so uninteresting and boring, and like then you see Tom Cruise, and he has actually like an interesting character, and he has a kind of a development, I guess. And I don't know, I thought like his scenes were much more interesting.
Yeah. I think he has the potential for being a very interesting character, but I think Hazel makes a point in the sense that this story, the main story, is between Sherry and Drew. It's a love story between these two kids, and then we have this Stacey Jack's character, and for this very long scene that I think it's nice to see. Okay, who are you, Stacey Jacks, and we get to know him, but it goes for too long. Also, in my opinion, but we're gonna see why that is when we go to our fun facts.
you're getting so excited.
Exactly. But in the meantime, then Paul is getting ready to present Drew to like a record label as the next Stacey Jacks. But then the record labels tell him that Rock is dead, man.
It happened like in one day, like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think that's
It's
because
like 90 suddenly start.
exactly that's my problem. I mean, this is late. This is 1987. I think
Yeah.
it's said. So yeah, no, I guess I think maybe if it had been a little bit more like 89, I would have been a little bit more believable.
But
That
nobody
okay,
in the
97.
world of the movie is like, we hate this rock and roll shit. We want to see like.
Yeah.
something else.
Yeah, it's a little bit out of place because all the setting of the movie is like rock and roll.
Yeah,
Exactly,
Stacey
yeah.
Jackson.
And
is, like,
then
the
all
most
of a sudden
famous
it's
guy.
like and then all of a
Yeah,
sudden it's
Rock
like
is
no,
dead.
Rock is dead. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, because like you say, because then him being put in a boy band is like reminiscent of 90s.
Yeah. And the boy band doesn't even perform good, so it's like
Yeah, exactly.
strange. Like,
Yeah.
we're not
Yeah.
really in that time period.
Yeah. So it's the Rock is dead. So then Paul tries to kind of like relabel Drew as a poppy hippie pop 90s kind of like New Kids on the Block kind of thing. And so he decides to create this boy band called the Z Guys with Z instead of S.
What's the name of his character?
I don't know, Bobby something C, yeah. Kind of like Drew is kind of upset because this is not what you promised me. I think they're shooting a music video, but they don't even have like a record. They haven't even performed live. So he says like, okay, I got it. And he calls Alec Baldwin and offers him, okay, yeah, I'm gonna give you the first Stacey Jack's solo show, and you're gonna be able to keep all the money, blah blah blah. But he's gonna scam him because he's just gonna present the Z Guys, just to get, I guess, like a boss.
I also thought like,
It's
how can
like
they be
it's so stupid.
How
It's
can
such a
they be so
stupid plan.
stupid to fall for the same trick? Like, what a bunch of idiots! No wonder their club is like.
But it was
closed.
also just like, I didn't understand why he thought they would get like a good reception there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
they're
what
not a rock
makes
band.
no sense. It's like stupidest plan in the world.
It makes absolutely no sense. It's just because they need the movie to move forward.
Exactly, yeah. They need to get
Yeah.
Drew and what's her name, Sherry,
Exactly.
back together.
Exactly. So then we cut back to the Hollywood sign, and Sherry, I think she's driving there, and she finds Drew
And
there.
he's wearing his stupid clothes.
His stupid,
Like he never takes them off.
Yeah. And they both realize that none of them are living the lives that they set out to live in California.
What I loved about this scene was the fact that she's like, because first off they're telling each other lies about how great their lives are supposed to be, and then she like gives in and she's like, oh yeah, I'm a stripper now, and he's like, well, I'm in a boy band, as if that's somehow
I mean, no, it's just that is the joke. Then she says, no, you win. That's like the joke that they try to make. Like,
Yeah.
no, I'm a stripper, blah blah blah. He's just like, I'm in a boy band. And then she says like, yeah, you win, because it's like, yeah, that is
more
definitely worse than
Okay.
being. A stripper.
another failed attempt at humor. that this movie
Exactly.
makes.
And then they sing, "Every rose has its thorns."
Which, I only know the Miley Cyrus cover version of that.
Because like you were singing, it was like, oh, Hazel,
You
really
know
likes
this song, so you know songs.
Yes, song, and then she's like, I know that Miley Cyrus. Like, Hazel.
Well, at least she knew it was a version. Like, at least she didn't think like it was a Miley Cyrus song.
Well, I did. Up until that point, I was like, oh, okay, so this must be, she obviously did a cover then. I just, at the time, I was like, oh, wow, this is a really lovely...
She's so original,
a
Miley.
really beautiful love song,
Oh, I didn't know Miley Cyrus existed in the 80s.
She's such an incredible songwriter. This, and I was like, oh, okay, so it must have been the cover. Yeah. Sorry for making you guys feel old again.
Every time.
I haven't even heard the Miley Cyrus version.
No, I didn't know there was one.
Oh, yeah. There is.
That's fun.
Miley, if you're listening to this, thanks for introducing Hazel to Every Rose Has Its Thorn.
Yeah, there you go. I think it was her Tamed album that it was on, but I'm sure. Yeah,
Okay.
that's useless information for anyone who doesn't like Miley Cyrus. That was the last album of hers that I listened to. Because anyone hasn't realised by now, I was a massive Miley Cyrus.
we should do. I mean,
Were
like,
you angry that this wasn't a Miley Cyrus movie? I guess?
like, have you seen the Miley Cyrus's films?
Oh, I mean, I think I saw the Hannah Montana movie. I'm not entirely sure if I watched.
The Climb, is it?
Is it? Yes, the one with Liam Hemsworth. I don't know if I've seen that. I might have seen that one, but no, I think I did. I can barely remember it. But,
God.
Yeah, the song is good, but
I was gonna say we should have a Miley Cyrus thing month, but you're
Oh my
the only
God.
one who has seen those films.
No, I have no idea about it.
I mean, she's better. I mean, I don't think she's been in anything
No, lately,
anything
no.
else. So,
Yeah.
oh man, yeah.
Okay.
I remember the Taylor Swift cameo. She was in that.
Oh, look at that.
There you go. Before she was Taylor Swift, when she still did country music.
Look at that.
Oh man,
That's
How
no,
things
that was a
change.
detour.
That was a
into my
detour.
childhood.
okay. So back to this film. Sorry. So Paul is back at his office, and his secretary lets him know that the Rolling Stones article is out, and that Stacy is there. So Stacy reads like some parts of the article, including this bit where
So
like,
this is the article written by the journalist he had sex with.
exactly, and she had written that that apparently, like in the article, it says, yeah, and he was dick, and on top of that, he took all the money from the venue without giving anything to the owners of the club, something like that. And then he says, like, hey, I didn't know that we got all the money, and so Paul gets caught, and then Stacey Jacks decides to fire him and
Yep.
pee on him.
I don't remember that part.
Yeah, like
It was
he.
just right at the end, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like he takes like a bottle of whiskey, and then Paul says like, please don't throw that on my face. Don't pour that on me. And he was like, no, I wouldn't do that. And then he starts drinking the whiskey, and he opens up his pants and just pees on.
Yeah. And then he's like, this is too nice a whiskey or something.
Exactly. or something like
Okay,
that.
I don't remember that.
Yeah. So then Stacy calls Rolling Stones magazine and finds out that Candace, the reporter, is covering his concert at the Bourbon, and he's like, I'm having a concert at the Bourbon. And then he goes to chase her. And
It's
wrap
so,
her
I
in
know,
her
it's
arms.
so stupid that they thought that this concert was gonna work because they advertised it
Yeah.
as a Stacey Jackson
Yeah.
also.
Yeah.
And people are expecting him, and then it's like the Sea Boys or whatever. And like, oh my God.
It's just it's a stupid plan, not from the characters, but from the script writers of this
Yeah.
film. It's like how in this universe does this make sense? But
It would have
whatever.
made sense if they only fooled the guys from the bar.
Exactly.
But then they said like in the Werbung, how do you say?
Yeah, like the
advertisement?
advertising.
Like the Sea Boys performing blah blah blah. But
Yeah.
it's like you trick all these people into going to a bar and then you change the thing. Like
Yeah.
that would never work in any universe, in any reality.
Yeah. So we're back to the Bourbon room, and there's like this big protest from the church group, or like the women led by Catherine
Yeah.
Zeta-Jones.
Are they all women?
Pretty much,
yeah,
I
yeah,
think
I think,
so, yeah.
yeah.
I mean, in between, we've also had a scene with her and Bryan Cranston in the car where he's like, why have you got it out for Stacey Jacks? And then she comes up with a story about, I think, a college roommate.
Yeah, a friend or something.
Who had like an affair, like one night or something with Stacey Jacks, and then he just moved on and left her behind, which makes absolutely no sense
Yeah.
when she tells it. But you realise it's obviously her.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
obviously her, but
Yeah.
but it's
Yeah.
also like, yeah, I don't know, it's stupid.
Yeah. I mean, like this group of women was modeled after because there was something similar in the 80s in LA. Like this group of women really got together to abolish rock and roll
I
music.
remember the whole Twisted Sister.
The Twisted
thing,
Sister thing, yes,
where he
exactly.
went to Congress to
Yeah,
do the thing, and like,
Yeah,
yeah, there was like a big debate, like live.
yeah, like
Tell me more.
Yeah, no,
Because
this,
they had like songs and merchandise, I think, that was supposedly promoting like violence and
Oh, okay.
drug use and stuff like that. But he defended himself and he won, actually, I think.
yeah, these women like literally, I think they were married to congressmen. They got together to kind of like abolish rock and roll because it promoted sex, drugs. And then, like the lead singer of this band, Twisted Sisters, had to go to Congress and say, okay, this is freedom of speech, blah, blah, blah. And eventually they won. So I think they mold these characters after them. But we're in the club, and there's like this showdown between like the protesters and the rockers. And there's this mashup that I think is the best mashup of the film, which is like We're Not Gonna Take It from the Twisted Sisters, and I think and We Build This City from Starship, and I think it's like a really nice mashup of songs.
But I didn't like how the song started, because I think he started shouting like, "We beat this
You
city."
will this city,
And then you thought, he's gonna sing this song, but
Yeah.
I don't know why I cringed a little.
No, I think it's not subtle. I
Yeah.
think you wouldn't yell, "We built this city."
No.
You know, I think it could have been, like you said, a little bit more subtle, a little bit more.
Yeah, like it's an
smoother.
art to make this like
Yeah.
transition from
Transitions.
film
Yeah,
to
yeah.
song, and in this movie sometimes it didn't really work.
Yeah. But I think like the mashup itself
Yeah.
works very,
Yeah,
very well.
yeah.
And Stacey Jackson arrives to the venue in a motorcycle, and he gets off the motorcycle and sees Catherine Zeta-Jones and seems to recognize her. And we intercut with Russell Brand, who says like, "Oh, wait a second," and then he goes back to the club and finds like an Arsenal old record, and then he comes back, and then when we're back, Stacey comes closer to Catherine Zeta-Jones, and I think he kind of fingers her. That's what I understood from that scene, because I think he
I
does
think he
something.
used his manly charm.
But I think he does something with his hand, because he has his
I
hand
don't
like
remember.
that, and then we see that he puts it like down, and then it's when he's like and then that's maybe my dirty mind is just
Maybe.
he
Maybe
Maybe that
fingers
says more
it.
about you.
Maybe that says more about me. I mean, we can watch the scene later on. to
Okay,
see.
yeah.
Right. We'll come
And then
back
we write a disclaimer. We include a disclaimer at the end, like no,
He didn't finger her.
Tom Cruise didn't finger Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Correction.
Correction. And then we discovered that she was like an old groupie from Arsenal.
Yeah.
And then we cut back to Drew, who's at the same record store where he once was with Sherry, and he sees her old records that are on the shelves. So he buys all of the records and sends them back to the strip club where she's working. Because exactly like Sherry had by this time,
Wait.
but then decided that she was gonna go to Oklahoma.
That's right,
She
yeah.
wasn't
Wait,
gonna
I don't know if we already missed the scene where she dances for Tom Cruise.
I think that's also then another
What?
extended version thing.
No, she doesn't. He goes to the strip club to have
Stacey
sex.
Jacks?
See, with
No,
somebody.
that's
that
not.
was-
And then he
that's
requests
not-
to have sex with her.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like,
true.
her. She's so beautiful. And then she has to debate whether she wants to have sex
Mm.
with him or not. And they do this whole dance and singing sequence that's also very sexual.
Mm.
And then at the end, they're about to like,
Fuck.
yes. I don't know if it's allowed on Spotify or whatever.
Yeah, we can say whatever.
But then she doesn't. I think
Mm.
no, she's like I realize we both don't want this or something because he also is thinking about somebody else.
Ah, no, that was
No,
not.
that's in the
Ah.
extended version then.
I,
as well.
I assumed because I was like,
You saw the dirty version, man.
Yeah.
The dirtier,
the dirtier
version.
version.
that thing was also like because I was thinking like, damn, this is like really like sexual. Like this is not for family friendly. Not for the whole family. Also, it makes her the heroine or whatever of the story look much more like sexual, and I think like usually they want to portray like the lead
Yeah,
women in
'cause
this movie is
then-
more like as innocent.
Yeah, because then that's 2 scenes where she's sexy dancing.
Yeah, for
but I
men.
thought like
For men.
like that, but I thought it was different. Like it's not this typical like innocent white girl who's like.
I'm guessing they cut those scenes because they wanted them. They realized they wanted the innocent white girl.
Or maybe because of
yeah.
rating.
Also,
stuff.
Maybe,
also,
Like
maybe.
it's not,
yeah.
we don't want to have like an R-rated or like a whatever.
Yeah.
15 or something, yeah.
Yeah. So yes, that was just like a extended porny
A porny version.
porny version. In the version that Hazel and I watched, the one that was released, Stacy then finds Constance, the Rolling Stones reporter, back in the bourbon room, and they make up and they make out.
So much tongue.
Yeah,
So much tongue.
it's like in a bathroom.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
that's right. Yeah.
Rock and roll.
Yeah, rock and roll. And then also we have that the Z guys start their performance, but of course it goes to shit because
course.
everyone hates them and it's
And
like
everyone's
hey,
expecting
Stacey Jacks.
Stacey Jacks.
Yeah.
So then I think Drew spots Sherry in the crowd because she got the records.
Oh, yeah. And so she came to the club.
Exactly. She's about to leave. Like, yeah, I'm going to leave. And then she gets the records. And is like, oh no, he really loves me. And then he goes back to she
Yeah.
goes back to the bourbon room. And so Drew spots her in the crowd, leaves the stage and goes to her.
Wait. So basically, when he didn't get famous, he came back to the girl.
Yeah, I guess.
So the other girl was right. It's like,
Yeah,
when they
well,
become famous,
I
they
guess you
leave
could say in a
But he was
way,
like,
yes.
oh, I guess
you
I
are.
didn't become famous. Wait, Sherry, I love you.
Yeah. I guess in a way.
Well, I mean,
you're-
they finally resolved their misunderstanding
Yeah.
when they met up at the Hollywood sign. So I guess.
But that makes me think, like, was it really a misunderstanding, or did he just think, like, I'm gonna be so famous, I can ditch this girl?
Yeah, I guess.
And then
I guess in the world of the movie, it was it was like
Maybe.
this misunderstanding, but maybe in his
In real life.
subconscious, exactly in real life, it was just
that's how I understood it. It's like oh my god, my band failed. At least I have that girl from the.
From before,
Yeah.
she'll still want me, right?
There you go, thinking like a man.
At least it makes sense.
Oh god. So then they make up, and then he fires Paul, the
Yeah.
the
Again.
agent, again.
Fired twice.
And that's, I think, when Stacey Jacks comes up.
Yeah, no, because Drew
Comes.
and his old band, Volkan von Colt, go up to stage and they play "Don't Stop Believing."
And you were like, oh,
And I was like, oh, again. But
Because
well,
like the monkey punches
uh-huh.
Yeah,
being
that's cool.
manager,
Yeah,
and then Stacey Jacks gives them the money back
that would never
club-
happen in real
to
life.
the club
exactly.
No rock star would ever do that.
because he got his start there.
Yeah, that is exactly. Thank you so much, Hazel.
You're welcome. I know this movie better than you do.
Yeah, bro, you hated it so much.
I know. But, well, no, I mean hate is a strong word.
You disliked it so much.
Yeah.
So yeah, so while they're having sex, sex and Stacy, sex and Stacy, sex and Stacy. While they're having
He
sex,
might as well
You
call
might-
himself that.
yeah, as Stacy and Constance hear the song and apparently are so impressed by the song that they kind of like stop and say like,
Oh my
"Oh
god.
my god, this is the song we've been waiting for." And then we fast forward 8 months later, and Stacy is back with Arsenal and is singing the song before he calls, "Oh, let's give a round of applause to the man who wrote this song." And then Drew and Sherry come out and are singing the song. Constance is pregnant, and everyone else.
And
who
Catherine Zeta-Jones is in the concert.
yeah. Everyone else in the movie that had a part in the movie is at the concert, and Catherine Zeta-Jones is back to being her
Groupie.
groupie, yeah, exactly, her groupie self.
And everything just resolves itself.
And everything
Yeah.
is everything worked like that. Yeah. So out of let's see, what should we do the scoring with?
Guitars? I don't know.
Guitars, yeah, or headbangs.
Headbangs.
Headbangs. Out of 10 headbangs, Hazel, how many headbangs would you give this movie?
Yeah.
You have to do them like
I have to do it what at the same time? I don't know. I mean, I think it just scores low. Maybe if I knew the songs better or liked the songs better, maybe it would go up in my estimation. But I think I'm gonna, considering I think the dialogue isn't very good, the humor falls flat most of the time.
what was the joke you found funny?
Yes, I was going to talk about that. So I think it's towards the beginning, and Drew I don't know if Drew's singing or something, and then he turns around and he's like, and then there's like another Latino person who like his colleague who works there, and he's just startled and he's like,
yeah.
"Ah, Jesus!" And then the guy's like, "No, Jesus is my brother."
Yeah, that's fine.
Just like, okay, that was a funny joke.
And then he says something in Spanish. It's like la gringa está buena or something like that.
Yeah,
What does he
something
say?
like that. Yeah, I don't know what he says.
Jesus is my brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. But apart from that joke, so I'm gonna give it a 3 headbangs out of 10.
Understandable.
Yeah.
Not
It just
considered.
seemed like very all over the place, like the story. Like there was so many that you'd had four different story threads going on with Drew and Sherry, and then you had Stacey Jacks, and then you had Bryan Cranston, Catherine Zeta-Jones, and
The monkey.
and then also the owners like Alec Baldwin and Russell Brand. That storylines that didn't really seem to go very far. So yeah, a bit muddled movie for me.
Yeah. Very fair enough. Mr. Hagedorn, how many headbangs?
I think I would give it 5 headbangs.
Okay.
I would give it 4. I mean, because the story is really not good at all. Like it's just too generic as it gets. But it's like fun. I think the songs are good, and I think I give it 5 because of the added scenes in the
Sex.
extended version that I enjoyed.
The extended version
I
gave you that
surprised. I was
extra
like,
headbang.
this movie it's not for kids, and I like them. I think all movies should be more like this. I'm sorry if that seems sexist, but yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah, I think I would give it also a 5 headbangs, but just like I think 4 out of those 5 headbangs are just because of the music. Because yeah, I think it's kind of annoying because I think I was as a 20-year-old, I was so excited to see this film. Oh, nice, a musical about rock music, and then it was so disappointed.
So
You
even
went
when
at the end like, yeah, rock and roll.
Yeah.
so
I guess it
even at the
doesn't-
end you weren't. Sorry, when you first saw it, you were already.
Yeah, no, I like the only reason why I enjoyed it was because of the music, because the story,
Okay.
I thought it was like, what is this? Like
Yeah.
it's like I thought the humor, I didn't understand why the movie needed to be funny.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
for me, that's like, okay, why
was
is
trying really hard.
exactly
and-
why do you want to make a joke out of this? Just tell a story and that's it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
You set yourself a real challenge then for this episode.
yeah, because I'm all committed to making this podcast entertaining.
Exactly.
So that is Rock of Ages for you. Let
Oh,
us know. Yeah.
One more thing. I think the movie is also good because I think the Tom Cruise part. I thought it was very cool. Like he's
Yeah,
the
he's-
most interesting part of the movie, and
It's a strong performance. Yeah.
he also sings well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Tom
Yeah,
Cruise.
I think he like when he sings. I think it's when he's singing "Dead or Alive." Like that got him like a lot of praise from critics. It was like, oh, that's a really good performance of this song. So yeah, Tom, if you're listening to this,
Can we get some free tickets to the new Mission Impossible movie, please?
Maybe get to
exactly,
star
we
in-
will talk about it.
We want to help you save cinema.
Exactly.
So we get some fun facts now.
Yes. So some fun facts is the director of this film, Adam Shankman, is the director also of Hairspray.
Ah,
The new Hairspray.
Yeah, like the John Travolta one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ooh. Okay. Wow.
He also directed The Pacifier, the movie with,
With
Vin,
Vin
Diesel,
Diesel.
Vin Diesel, where he plays like a nanny. that film is really good.
I've actually never seen it.
You have never seen it.
I might have seen bits
I
of
just
it.
know the trailer. Like I remember the trailer, and I thought like,
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
vaguely aware of it.
I really enjoyed that film as a kid. And he is set to direct Disenchanted, the sequel to Enchanted.
Oh.
but it already came out.
Yeah, that's already come out.
Okay
It
then.
wasn't that good.
He directed
I
that.
actually didn't.
Oh, okay.
I actually
So
didn't
I'll
even
have to see
finish
that then.
watching it.
I haven't seen any of
I've
them.
been meaning to. Well, there's only one.
The original was
And then there's the
good.
Disenchanted.
No, exactly. I haven't seen Enchanted or Disenchanted.
I recommend watching Enchanted.
Enchanted is good.
It's like a fun take
Yeah.
on Disney princess
Oh,
stories.
why didn't I
But then
pick
Disenchanted I didn't like. I thought,
Oh. I mean, I've been meaning to watch it.
I mean, maybe you like it. I thought the script wasn't that funny. And like, it was kind of, the songs weren't that good. The story wasn't as good as the other.
Yeah, why didn't I pick Why didn't I pick Enchanted for this?
Mm.
Oh well.
Yeah.
Forgot about Enchanted.
Yeah. So Chris D'Arienzo, who is the creator of the stage musical, was supposed to direct this film, to write and direct it, but he wanted to do something more like Singing in the Rain, like very like big and pompous. And then the studio said like, nah, that's too expensive. Let's just give it to the other guy.
Okay.
And then the fun fact is that the musical has a lot of differences with the film.
There's no monkey.
There's no monkey. That's the biggest difference. And it's not about rock; it's country music. No. Like Stacey, the character of Stacey Jacks is actually an asshole in the original musical. Like he actually has
He's
sex
like a
with.
villain.
Sorry, he's like a villain in a way. He
Oh.
actually has sex with Sherry and leaves her to
Oh, what a slut.
her or him.
Both.
Both of them.
No, this
Shame
is,
on
this
you,
is near
Sherry.
the end of the movie or at the beginning?
Of the musical, you mean? Like when he is like in the first interaction that they have, he has sex with her.
Oh,
Well, aren't
wow.
they together with the other guy?
Yeah, I think
Okay,
so.
so I guess I reaffirm my.
Oh, that kind of turns her into a bit of a.
But I guess that would have made more sense because then it would have made sense that they break up.
Yeah.
But I guess for the film, they wanted to keep it like, oh, everyone's a good guy,
I guess
you
so.
know. And in the end of the musical, he ends up in jail for statutory rape.
So is he a minor?
Jesus.
No, I don't think it has not anything to do with cherries. I think he just raped another young girl outside of the plot of the film.
I'm sure Tom Cruise had something to do with that.
Yeah, it's like, okay,
Not in terms of like the statutory rape.
I can play this character, but we need to change some things.
that he was against that. Like I'm not
Yeah.
playing a statutory rapist.
Exactly. Yeah, and because I'm sure that they did all of these changes to his character just because of Tom
because
Cruise.
it's Tom
Like
Cruise.
you're not gonna have Tom Cruise play this role.
No.
Yeah.
The character of Catherine Zeta-Jones doesn't exist.
Yeah. I think I read that this whole thing is not in the musical.
Yeah, exactly, because I like the main conflict with the club in the musical is not like taxes or anything. It's like this developers
Okay.
like
They wanna,
some architects
tear it down. Or
want to
something.
tear it down to build something else. But they came up with this whole tax thing. So and like the most resemble character to this Patricia Whitmore in the original is like a woman who's trying to save the club. So she protests
Oh, okay.
to save the club. So that's another thing. Drew and Sherry, they don't become rock stars. Like they never become
Well, they
famous.
don't really.
Like at the end, they do.
They do, yeah.
I think like the musical is more aimed to kind of like
Losers.
yeah.
People whose dreams have failed, and they're
So
like,
us.
But it seems to me like more like a criticism of like rock stars and stuff.
No, I think like the musical is more like a thing of I think that they try very hard to fulfill their dreams and they get shattered and
Yeah.
then they realize that what they need to be happy is just each other, like they don't need all these fancy
Okay.
things. So
Yeah.
that's like kind of like the moral, I guess.
Yeah.
To
So it is aimed at losers.
exactly. And
that's
in-
what losers tell themselves.
Exactly,
Like, it's
to
like,
give
yeah,
themselves-
oh yeah, this relationship
At least
is all
we
I
have
need.
each other.
and last, like the character played by Russell Brand has like a bigger role in the musical. He's the narrator, and like one of the things that made the musical so cool, I guess, when it came out, is that he breaks the fourth wall. So he's constantly addressing the audience, and I think that like in the last part, like he has like a conversation with Drew, and he's like, "Oh, why did my dreams come true?" And then he says like, "Because this is a musical stage and Broadway. This isn't real. These people just paid a ticket to see you sing." And so he's like very like self-aware,
Oh.
and that's what I guess it was like very new
Yeah.
to the.
That's a shame. The movie takes itself so seriously.
Yeah.
It's so sentimental as well.
So that is Rock of Ages for you folks. I hope that you liked at least the music or enjoyed the ladies and the
I don't
naked
regret watching
dumpers.
it. There were some good moments.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say, oh, I wish I could go back and
Rip
erase
my eyes off.
erase it from my mind, but
Maybe you
I
should watch
probably won't.
the
see
extended
it.
version.
Those two scenes really make up for everything.
They really make
else.
the whole thing have a completely different meaning.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They make it far more coherent.
Exactly. But that is it. That was Rock of Ages. Next week.
Wait,
What?
the guys do fall in love, right? In the movie, Alec Baldwin and the
Alec
okay.
Baldwin and
That they didn't cut that.
No. They do fall in love in the musical as well.
Oh, okay.
Because
Yeah.
we didn't talk about this scene, or we didn't cover it. So I thought
No, I think we just
they
said
cut it out. Like, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
no.
Well,
They do fall in love. Yeah, I don't know. I guess they wanted to give like a shout out to the gay rock and roll community.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is nice, but
Which is
sort
nice.
of-
But it was kind of done in a ridiculous
yeah.
way.
Well, it was more sort of an offhand way, wasn't it? It was just
Mm.
sort of this, nebenbei sort of
Yeah.
like, you know.
Yeah.
I don't think the audience will understand your German words.
I know. Let me rephrase that.
I think I've heard like 3 German words today, and I think nobody's understanding.
No, they refer to it in quite like an offhand way. It's not
Yeah.
really part of the main story in the end.
Yeah. No, because yeah. What can I say?
No, we finished off with that.
Exactly. But remember, everyone, to follow us on Spotify, on Instagram at @elevatorpitch_pod.
Anywhere you can find us anywhere where you
Get your
anywhere
podcasts.
Yeah.
And next week we have Andres's pick. Do you want to tease a little bit about your movie?
No. No. It's a movie.
With music.
No, it's an animated
Exactly.
movie. It's an
People
animated
sing.
movie, but it's not by Disney, and it has really good songs, and I think it's really funny. So I hope you both enjoy it.
Let's find out if that's true.
That is.
I think you should find it funny. If you don't, then that's, I think that's your problem.
Then this podcast team thing cannot keep going any longer.
That'll be the final episode.
Exactly. But thank you so much, as always, for tuning in. Tune in also next week when we release the new episode. Thank you, Hazel.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Andres.
Thank you.
And thank you.
Thank you for what?
Just for being here, for showing up.
For existing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, okay, thank you so much, everyone. See you next week. And
Bye.
If you like this episode, why not hit that subscribe button so you'll never miss another episode? And if that's still not enough, you can follow us on Instagram at elevatorpitch_pod to stay up to date with all the latest news.